good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folari. Well, you know, our brethren are returning from South Africa. And it's a situation that maybe we haven't seen in a bit. In fact, can't really remember that kind of a thing where as many Nigerians as is the case here are returning, and under the circumstances that they are returning, as is well known by now. Air Peace offered to bring them back home free of charge, whoever was willing to come. And so we have these groups. I think the second group or so is expected today. But the initial pictures we've seen of our compatriots arriving, some of them, as we were hearing, have been there for 5 years, probably some for more. They have children, but you saw there was relief, which means that the situation must have been very, very bad. There was relief on most of them, you know, that showed, and that they're just happy to be home. Burst into the national anthem at one point, quite emotional. But how are they now going to be reintegrated? How are they going to be settled? Is there any need for intervention? The chair of the Diaspora and Commission, Honorable Abike Dabiri, has already told of some measures that are being taken. I don't think it's exactly the palliative that we're talking about yet, but at least you heard about the 40,000 naira airtime. I don't know if that's for every individual or if that's for a group, if it's a pool, but we'll get to that. It doesn't matter that our people are thinking in this way because it's all about communication, how they get in touch with their people, and you know, some left without their phones. It must be a nightmare right now. Yeah, people have phone numbers in their heads and all of that, but you can imagine this is an upheaval. So to look at this, apart from what we've been talking about, how do we begin to reduce the incidence of this? Well, that's left to the policymakers. Governments will interact with each other. Maybe Nigerians also have a part in it. Maybe South African ordinary people also have a part of it. But in the meantime, the immediate concern is how do these people get reintegrated, and so that you know, they can just begin to build again. Talking about coming back with nothing. People coming back with nothing after having put together a lot in recent time. Well, my guest this morning, first of all, let me introduce Sebastian Iyere. Sebastian Iyere is he's UK based, so it's good to have you home.
Thank you very much.
And as you see from the color, he's Reverend Sebastian Iyere. But he's also an engineer. In fact, he's a chartered electrical engineer, and he's a power and control consultant.
Thank you very much.
That's apart from being a man of the cloth. So good to have you back, Sebastian.
Yeah.
Okay, and our friend right next there, he's not a reverend. He needs very little introduction. He's a working journalist, public affairs analyst, Charles Ideho.
Thank you.
To have you
Thanks
back.
for having me. Thank you.
Indeed.
Yes, that's right.
So, kicking off from where I started, Charles, you know, I guess that's the main concern. It's not everybody that is affected that would just be able to move into his uncle or his auntie's place or maybe his parents' place as a stopgap measure. The way we are is dispersed all over the place. But as a principle, whoever needs the assistance, our people are going in the right way. They are, from what we've heard, the official statement, from we've seen in action, Honorable Abike Dabiri, we've seen on television, are we in the right direction?
Well, first of all, let me say, this is the very first time that you'll be having an uproar over people returning and then government becoming more interested because of the work of you and I as journalists, raising the bar in terms of awareness. You remember that this is not the very first time it's happening, people returning home. You also had the Libyan returnee, so to speak, those people who will always cross the hot desert, cross the Mediterranean in order to just go over there and seek those greener pastures that are not even there, green at all.
That return also had a splash.
Yeah, but we had a problem. We had a problem because most of them were just put in a camp-like settlement. And they complained that government no sooner that calmed them, they abandoned them. So, but we are hoping that because of the awareness that this has created, so we are feeling that government indeed can do something for the very first time to succor those people who it's like uprooting somebody from his own ancestral home. I even recall there's a Mozambican who had been there for about 30 years. The man said he lost everything. We also have, even right now, an Igbo pastor based over there, Reverend or something of Fogbo. Okay, he only sent his wife, but he said he couldn't just leave immediately. But he sent his wife, a seamstress, and his children back home while he still remained there to watch the situation. So that's part of people who have not returned, actually. So, but I think what government
families
is doing,
have been split.
families have, exactly. Yeah. So what government has done is, thankfully, that they want to collaborate with the Bank of Industry.
Yes.
So we're able to give microcredit facilities to people after they have profiled them. They know some of them have entrepreneurial training, or who don't even, they can even train them, but also enterprising. Then they can give them microcredit to start. It's just a stopgap measure. Because it's not
those of them that actually do need it.
Exactly.
Because,
yes,
that's the important thing. There will be those that, you know,
no, there might also be
resilient.
some of them who also are not, who do not have this entrepreneurial spirit in them. If, for instance, they indeed have good qualification, they are well certificated, if you know what I mean, they can also look for maybe ministries or Empower or some of these social intervention programs that government have put in place to also succor the, as I said, it may be a stopgap measure, but just to tell them that indeed, as a country, we care for them.
Okay. Sebastian, you, as I said at the beginning, you're UK based, so you're visiting, so you're a diasporan, so you know what it feels like. And well, the UK doesn't have these kind of upheavals that often, especially not against Nigerians. Thank God for that so far, touch wood. Can you relate to how the authorities, you know, their stance in relation to our brothers and sisters that are returning? Do you approve? Can you relate to it? What's your comment?
Thank you very much for inviting me to this program.
Yes, our pleasure.
Yeah. I think what we see in South Africa today is just a dimension which is all over, whether you are in America, Canada, Europe, UK, Asian world, wherever you are. This is just a dimension of it. We all have it everywhere. There is that level of aggression to foreigners. And as a matter of fact, if you have been watching UK politics, one of the reasons for Brexit is actually immigrants. So there is a level of aggression to foreigners. And what is happening in South Africa is this very extreme side where they have decided they want to burn people, and the government, police or army, didn't do anything about it, because that really is where the South African
general
one,
opinion that a lot of people have.
That really is where the South
Factual
African
or not
one
is yet another conversation.
Yes.
But
so
that's the opinion a lot of people have.
Because in the UK, if you say somebody is evil, somebody who has come to your country is evil, is drug addict, is whatever, the law is there, the police is there, the court is there, they settle it, they put him in prison. That is what should have happened in South Africa. But because of the failure of that system, the hooligans, they took over it and decided it's common all across. And I think part of the problem is our failure. That is just one indicator of failure in our governance.
Oh, so please continue.
Yeah, so that's just one indicator of failure in governance in Nigeria. For example, currently I work in a project where we are trying to get power to a particular country, and we are 20,000 people there. The power of industrialization, 20,000 workers. And for you to even get a slot to barb your hair in the place, you have to give 3 days notice for a 30-minute slot. And that barber barbs hair for about 3,000 naira or 4,000 naira for every barbing you do. And if at the end of the day that barber barbs your for 12 hours, for 12 hours, that's 24. And if he makes 1,000 naira from it, that's 25,000 naira in a day.
Yeah.
And that's 600,000 naira in a month. So that kind of barber will not be thinking about leaving the country. He doesn't think about leaving the country because he's making what he wants to make. So it is part of the failure, the industrialization failure. In fact, in that place again, I'll give an example. We eat 60,000 eggs in one day. 60,000 eggs.
You're talking about the UK now?
Yeah, no. The particular site I'm working at.
The site you're working
where we
on.
have 20,000 people.
Yes.
60,000 eggs in one day. And what that means is for bread, for pastry, for the cook egg, whatever.
Whatever menu requires eggs, everything.
60,000. Now, if you imagine that you go to Edo State and you drop,
For example,
in Benin City, you say, look, I want 60,000 eggs every day from Edo State. Nobody will have time to be crossing the desert to go to Libya. They will be engaged. It is the failure that is making people, our Nigerians, even exposed.
It's a failure
of government.
Of governance.
And leadership, for instance.
Well, it has also been said.
Yes.
But this didn't suddenly happen now. It didn't suddenly happen today.
Correct.
This is something that our diasporans have been saying for a while, but just to go back to the matter, a quick recap of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. So this was when they were arriving. There were one or two hiccups in the sense that it was late, but it came.
Yeah.
These things will happen. And so reintegrating these whole people, you look at these people and, if they've been in the news, this personalizes it a bit. There are Nigerians regular, upright, modern-looking. They're not looking like riffraff. They're not looking like drug smugglers. They're not looking like criminals. They're not looking like shady
One
characters.
of them say he don't even know the color of any drug.
They're looking like everyday people. They're looking like everyday people. So these are the people that have been
being uprooted.
Thank you. It's like being forcibly
uprooted.
Never mind that. To be correct, they have come. They have decided to return voluntarily.
That's right.
But still, it
wasn't voluntary on their part.
It
wasn't. It was as if they were being chased away from where they have settled for a while. I have been in Lagos, for instance, now for more than 20 years. I mean, I went to university here in Nigeria. I mean, Lagos. Okay, so I went to university here. I started working here in Lagos. Now, for you to now start taking me out of Lagos, where I have settled, even though I'm not from this state, you know what it's going to be like to me. But if I decided on my own to say, okay, I'm going to have a process of maybe relocating.
Going back home. That's a structured.
It's a structured thing. I was okay. This is September. By October, I'm going to finish building somewhere. By December, my wife will go first. By January, I will not go. That's a structured
so those that
one.
have arrived actually were
but when
traumatized.
you just uproot me.
Okay.
So it's a problem.
Here's this package.
Yes.
It was a wait that was finally over for journalists who waited for more than 8 hours to receive the returnees from South Africa. The flight was initially scheduled for 2 p.m. Nigerian time, but was later delayed due to immigration issues that lasted for more than 3 hours before they boarded. At exactly 9:33 p.m., the Boeing 77 aircraft that departed Thabo Mbeki International Airport, Johannesburg, landed at the cargo wing of the Muritala International Airport. Breathing the air of relief, the returnees, who among them are adults, children and infants, expressed their joy upon returning home safely. They were received by the chairman of Nigerian Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri, and the National Emergency Agency, Nigeria Immigration Service, and the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria. Mrs. Dabiri was said over 600 Nigerians had indicated interest to return home, adding that the government was ready to assist them to settle back in the country through its various social intervention programs.
The first thing is communication. So we're going to ensure that they communicate with their families. So there's an airtime of almost 2 months, which is worth almost about 40,000 naira. So thousands of minutes of airtime, so they will not be tired of talking to their people. Then Bank of Industry will be on ground here to offer some entrepreneurship programs. So for those who, want to do a little something, there'll be some little funds from Bank of Industry to help them settle in. Then subsequently, they can look into bigger scale entrepreneurship.
The CEO of Airpeace, Mr. Oyema, told Newsman that it cost the airline over 3 million naira to airlift the affected Nigerians in solidarity with the federal government. This, he believes, will show the world that Nigerians are their brothers' keepers.
We have demonstrated to the world that no outsider can break our bond in this country. We may have our differences, yes, of course. But the good thing is that over the years, in our 50 years of living, Nigerians don't want to go their separate ways. We want to be together. And we've demonstrated today that we want to be Nigerians and known as Nigerians. This, we have shown the world that we are together and nobody can break our resolve to be together.
Hello, sir. Some of the returnees recanted the horror they faced back in the Rainbow Country. They said they were unjustly attacked by South Africans who destroyed their businesses and properties in the fresh xenophobic attacks that began on August 29th.
You see me, we are tired. I say I left virtually everything in that house.
I feel so good and so peaceful coming back to my father's land.
President Muhammadu Buhari and on September 8 ordered the immediate evacuation of Nigerians who had indicated interest to leave South Africa after receiving reports from the special envoy deployed to the country. Ademola Lawrence, TVC News, Lagos.
Okay, thanks to Ademola Lawrence there. And but a quick, update. He said in there that it cost Airpeace something in the region of 3 million naira. Actually, it's way more than that. Way. It's actually 280 million naira. So just to put that in perspective, it wasn't 3 million naira. Airpeace actually, invested over
280 million.
Yes, they committed, in terms of value, over 280 million naira, and which is that's well, apart from what it is, which is stepping up to the plate. Airpeace stepped up to the plate. It's possible that there could be an example, and there might be other people who want to step up to the plate in this form, because even though President Muhammadu Buhari had indeed ordered that, people should come back home if they are willing to do so, he didn't put a plane in the ground. It took a private individual to say, I step up to the plate. I offer. If you're willing to come free of charge, come on. Other people could also do this in terms of because he was saying things in a local context about being your brother's keeper and how we're all one.
Even though we have differences, but we're still
we
one.
have all our differences.
Yes.
There's a sense in which possibly other corporate organizations could latch on to things like this.
I agree. I agree that we could, but maybe I have a perspective that it should be a permanent thing rather than ad hoc arrangements here and there. Yes, okay, there is room for ad hoc arrangement anywhere in the world. Governors can come in, churches can even come in, NGOs can come in just to have a temporary remedy for this particular situation.
But there should be a structure.
But there should be permanent situation. Because in Edo State, we say we don't see the rabbit in the daytime, except there is a problem in the hole. It is because there is a problem. That's why we even see Nigerians in South Africa. Otherwise, they won't be called immigrants or whatever. They will probably be called expatriates because they will be invited to South Africa to deliver services. Just like you won't. Why are they not rising against maybe American citizens or British
Indians?
No, they cannot, because those people have. So what I mean is, we need a permanent solution, and I'll probably term it like industrial foundation, and that is based on a lot of things. If there's anything I would say about that, it is about the fact that if for Nigeria to prosper and to have that basic industrial foundation, what we need is, in fact, let me just call it lines. Whether you call it crude oil lines, gas line, electricity line, transmission lines, or even drainage lines, these are things upon which the system is built upon.
Okay.
System is built upon system.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Garba in Makurdi, good morning, and sorry to have kept you waiting. Please go ahead.
No problem, Uncle. Good morning, Uncle.
Good morning, sir. Thank you.
Good morning to your guests over there.
Morning.
Good morning.
I really appreciate your chartered engineer there.
Thank you.
He said something, it's like, from today I will start learning barbing canoe.
To make 600,000 naira in a month.
Too seriously, honestly, I doubt it in Nigeria if and only if there's any legitimate business that you would do, you get such amount of money in a month. I'm moved. Honestly, I'm moved. If I know in my country I will get something, why would do everything humanly possible to be there? Honestly, that's the gospel truth.
Yes.
You see, any Nigerian that you see that he leave this country to other country because he knows that his country did not do enough for him. If our country do enough for them, I don't see any reason of Nigeria leaving the country to go and kind of develop other country, other nation. We love Nigeria that we are. We are happy people. Look at what that gentleman saying. He said, forget about differences. But we still, whenever we come to issue, we're united against it. And that's what I want to see Nigerians doing.
All right,
and
then.
I will appreciate Abike. That lady, she's fantastic. I think she deserves an award.
Okay, the chairman of the Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri.
Yes, of course. That lady, she's fantastic. Honestly, if there's anything that we can give credit to this government, we can give credit because of this lady. Okay. She has done enough. She has done her best. And as the pastor said, our religious organization should do the needful. And this is a wake-up call to the government.
Sure.
If the government of Nigeria wake up and make a life stable to Nigeria, I don't see Nigeria moving to another country.
Indeed.
We are good. We are prosperous. We are hardworking.
Indeed.
So
thank you very much. Appreciate your call.
Thank you very much, Uncle Yori.
Right,
I'm urging on the government to do the needful.
All right, then. Thank you very much. You know, well, indeed, well placed praise there.
That's
because Abike Dabiri, she's taking a hands-on approach to
exactly.
this.
I mean, she's took over that. I mean, she's been she's doing quite a good job,
really
and also trying to see how to repair our dwindling image abroad. Saying that when people travel, they have the cost to travel, the right cost to travel. When they also go, they also comport themselves in a conduct that will not give us a bad light. I mean, put us in bad light, as I meant to say. So, she's commendable. I mean, what she's doing is commendable.
Really,
yes,
alongside the whole foreign office,
exactly. That's
the whole
right.
foreign office and the foreign ministry, that kind of a thing.
But let me quickly add this that when you were talking about the social intervention program, I think we even apart from the corporate boys coming in, I mean, each of those returnees all came from respective states. Okay, there could be Anambra people there could be Imo people, there could be Edo people, there could be Kogi people. So I want the government to do proper profiling so that they can also reach out to their respective states to also be part of the reintegration, because it's not going to be a federal government thing alone. Their state, I mean, we all, even as we are here, we all hail from states. So their state also have a role to play in this, so that once you are able to succor them, most of them at the end of the day may not even think of going abroad anymore, because you find something for them to do and they have a reason to indeed remain in Nigeria.
Which is the point I'm trying to make.
I'll
probably, if you give me time, I'll probably just expand on that.
Go ahead.
Now, the point I'm trying to make is, at the end of the day, we would, if we create permanent foundation, industrial foundation, no person would need to be running away from this country. Now, I talked about lines just now, power lines here and there. I just give you an example.
Yes, right.
Let's talk about power in Nigeria, for example. If you want to set up a barbing salon, you want to set up a fashion and design, you want to set up anything you want to set up, you are thinking about generating your power by yourself. That is ridiculous. It is ridiculous because we can actually... Okay, I'll give you the word perception of this. So you have...
one moment, Reverend. Please hold your thought, I beg of you, because I'm going to come straight back and you're going to be able to continue. But I do have Okotie on the line in Delta State. So when we finish with Okotie, we'll come right back to you for you to conclude the thought. Good morning, Okotie.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Thank you very much for coming in, sir. Go ahead.
Yes, I thank you for your effort to bring this program on air.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah. My contribution on this issue of reintegration of the South African returnees is this, that we should make the country conducive for them to do business, to live in. Like Mr. Yere there now, he's a chartered engineer based in UK. He can bring his good ideas to this country so that electricity will be improved upon. All these people that left Nigeria to South Africa and some other countries, it's because of electricity problem. You want to set up a business, you need generator to do this or do that. And as a result, the cost of running a business it becomes very, very
expensive,
bearable for people to actually absorb into the business. So I think if we have this Mr. Yeri Sebastian as a member of our team in the electrical industry, they should, like in Europe and other parts of Asia, you have windmill, you have solar energy absorption. And today, I think, let me digress a bit.
Well, I was just going to interrupt you. I was just going to interrupt you. You can't digress. But thank you very much for calling in, Mr. Kotie. Really appreciate your call.
So, thank you, Mr. Kotie. Yes. I was going to give you the perspective.
Yes.
Now, if you go to the U.S. today, the U.S. is about 300 and maybe 30 million people. Yeah? And they produce 1,200 gigawatts. So just put that figure, 300, 1,200. If you come to Europe, let's take Germany. Germany is about 82 million people, and they produce 200 gigawatts of electricity. If you take UK and France, 60 million people, 65 million people, they produce 120 and 130 gigawatts. 120,000 gigawatts.
Imagine that.
Are you listening to me? Now, if you come to Italy, Italy is about 60 million people. They produce 50 gigawatts. Now, you can see, if you are just looking at the figure, just the figures alone without trying to understand what it is, US is like times 4, from 300 to 1,200. Germany is like times 2 in terms of their population.
Yes.
UK and France is like times 1.5 or times 2. Germany is like times 3. And it's only Italy that is like times 1, just looking at the figures alone. Now, we in Nigeria, we are 200 million people. Number 7, as a matter of fact, in the world population. And what do we produce?
4,000 megawatts.
4 gigawatts.
Megawatt.
That's what I'm saying. If you convert the 4,000, it becomes 4 gigawatts. 4 gigawatts.
Not 50, not 500,000.
No, that's what we are producing, and that's what the nation is talking about. We are talking about people producing times 2 of their population. We are supposed to be producing at least 200 gigawatts, which is 200,000 megawatts. So you see where the problem is?
Yes.
So when somebody is in the federal there and is talking about, oh, we can produce, we cannot transmit, I look at them and I'm like, what are you guys talking about?
Okay, 1 second, please.
I am just to add this. I am working currently in a power station, and in that power station, under 2 years, we are going to produce 1,000 megawatts in just that power station alone.
That's the power station in the UK, right?
Yeah, in Russia.
In
I
Russia.
work all over.
Nigeria.
I work all over the
Nigeria.
world.
Not in Nigeria.
Not in Nigeria.
No, not in Nigeria. And so people are just talking.
How much are you people going to be producing in that Russian plant?
No, just that power plant.
Yes.
1,000 megawatts, which is.
And you were saying that what we ourselves are doing here
4.
locally in Lagos.
We are just. The whole nation
for
is 4,000 megawatts.
Mazi Okoroafo in Arochukwu. Good morning.
Good morning, Sayori. Good morning, Mr. Yere, and our guests.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Honest, good morning, bro.
Good morning.
I thank the federal government of Nigeria for the needful.
Yeah.
Honestly speaking, I thank the federal government, the BMB, they have tried, and all the even the APs, and the TVC themselves too, because the way people brought these topics right from the world go to States, I thank the management. They have tried. Now, the question one should be asking, what next for the returnees?
Yes.
Like what Mr. Yera has been saying about the power. Yes, power is very, very important. But the question now is the kidnappers and armed robbers, and name them. What do we do? There is need for them to make the environment very, very conducive, not for only Nigeria, and even for those who come, because you see now some people will start going there to pinch some nonsense theory to them. Our landlords and the shop owners, what do we do? I think there's a need for that is to give some of those that came back from that have some business and have some little cash, some pala to start some business. At least give them leverage. Maybe instead of them to collect a house rent or shop rent for 2 years, they can say, okay, come and pay 6 months and start. Within the period, you can still complete the money. It will help us. Because a situation whereby one will come back into his country, Instead of him to balance weight, people inside around him will start with frustrating the person. It brings somebody to a sort of trauma. Say, and I know I could have died in that place instead of coming back to my country. It's not the question of coming back home that matters. The question is, how do we bring them into the system?
Yes.
The system is already that. System is conducive for people who are already who have made up their mind that they will stay in this Nigeria, born here, die here, and go to the heaven in this country. But the thing is this, please. Those people that are back, I saw many of them on the television where they were shouting this and this and that. Yes, you have seen what happened outside where you were. And it's one now for it's a lesson for you to educate people that are already here in Nigeria. That going outside is not the best way.
Yeah.
Sit down in your community or your village and find a lasting solution in order to move forward. Our religious leaders, where are you?
Okay then. Okay, thank you very much, Mazi.
Thank you very much. Have a blessed day in Lagos. Have a nice
Thank you very much.
Indeed, appreciate you, Mazi. Indeed, some of those returnees, I heard one or two of them saying the things like, I have no intention to return. I'm just so grateful. I'm so happy to be back home.
Yeah.
Stay with us, please. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back. Continue with your calls and the conversation in studio. Okay, welcome back. We're having this conversation about the rehabilitation of our nationals that are returning from South Africa. And, you know, the problem is as it is, and we're thinking of, you know, how are those people going to be helped? We're happy to have them back, so that's our main concern. But recall that South Africa seems to be in some sort of denial about the situation that's going on. South Africa, I think right up until now, is still saying that there is no such thing as a withdrawal of Nigerians from South Africa. Even as they are landing, they are saying there is none. It is not like that. And it also shows, in my view, that maybe there are many Nigerians in South Africa that were caught between a rock and a hard place.
That's right.
And just didn't know what to do until this unfortunate incident and Air Peace stepping up to the plate and putting their own 280 million naira worth to committing it to it, that you now see over 600 Nigerians saying that, I want to come. Especially as Nigeria said, look, don't worry about papers haven't been expired. The embassy, High Commission has been instructed to facilitate your travel. So this is an emergency.
That's right.
You're a Nigerian, come. You don't have money, come. You don't have papers, come. Come to your fatherland. You know, that kind of a thing.
That's right.
So yeah, as I said, we're concentrating on the people now. But I just remember the interesting attitude of the South Africans that we have already said seem to be foot dragging when it comes to doing the right thing. Let it be said, but let our people, let the governments continue. And I know it's not, you people have said that, and people have said from home that, look, if this country were, it doesn't need to be 100% of its potential.
That's right.
Correct.
But if it was where it should be, then there wouldn't be this exodus, as it were, that now makes us visible. Because let it be said, we are Nigerians. We are not a country of 5, 6, 7 million.
No.
So when we go to a place, it tends to show. There's
no
way to hide.
I'll tell you what happened. There was going to be in 2013, 2014. There was going to be a similar incident in Zimbabwe, the ubiquitous Zimbabwe, if you know what I mean. The nationals there all of a sudden became very envious of the enterprising spirit and the entrepreneurial level of the Nigerian. So the Nigerians were really, really doing well over there. Then they now started saying they wanted them out of this country. And you know, Zimbabwe is very good at nationalizing businesses. Very good at that. So the Nigerian community in Zimbabwe reached out to the government of Golo Jonas at that time, who now reached out to the country. So what they did was that at that level of government to government, they now did proper profiling and realized that we just had only 2,000 Nigerians in a country of about 13 million people. But by then they profiled Zimbabweans in Nigeria, we have over close to 20,000. So the government said, okay, we have just 2,000 in the country of 13 million. You have over close to 20,000. And those Zimbabweans who are here, they were all occupied in blue chip companies. But our nationals are all in the micro level business. Who, I mean, some of them, they build this thing from scratch to the level you want to take it from them. Okay, you bring our national, we turn yours. Yeah. And but by the time they knew that the money that they are for the money repatriate home is a lot. Yes. They begged, don't worry. I mean, that's how that matter was solved. So South Africa doing what they're doing now is very wrong because you know why they did this denial is that because it brings them that it put them in the bad light.
It does.
So it's just like they wanted to fight it. They wanted to do damage control.
They're in denial.
Yes.
Bobby in Jalingo, thank you for holding on. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Uncle. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Go ahead, please.
I'm always envying you on a serious note, sir. Seriously, I'm serious, sir.
You're too kind.
But let's talk about this.
Sure.
I mean, this present issue, as in you guys are discussing about. Uncle Yori, the first thing I want the Nigerian government to do is to appreciate Mr. Onyema, the owner of Air Peace, that spent his personal pocket to go and save these Nigerians. Uncle Yori, this man deserves a national honor from the federal government of Nigeria, and with a compensation. If there is need, they should give him an extra interest on what he has spent. Uncle Yori, how many Nigerians have that guts and mind to do what this man has done? I'm just using this platform to let the Nigerian government know that this man should be honored. It's not everybody, it's not every African that have this kind of mind at this present stage of this nation. Uncle Yori, well done. Keep doing a good job. Your job is one of the best in Nigeria, and God will bless you entirely. Thank you so much, sir.
Good morning. Thank you very much. You're far too kind. But thank you very much.
Maybe a national honor for you too.
But what he's saying, I'm hearing.
Yes.
People like Onyema, they need to be noted.
They need to be noted and also appreciated.
There's so many other Onyemas, whatever it is.
They are there.
Why are they not coming out? We don't want to blame anybody or shame anybody, but the thing is that one is celebrating Onyema.
On an applaudable
one is
thing
celebrating Onyema,
yes,
who stepped up unasked.
Yes.
Let it
very
be
voluntary.
But we go back to
yes.
the real cause. I think Sebastian was even saying that beyond these ad hoc measures, we're commending all the people that are involved. You're doing a great job. There has to be, as I said, we're not a country of 10 million people.
Far-reaching measures.
So these things will happen. Yeah. We have to have a structure. We have to have a process, a program. When these kind of things happen, if they happen, what if there wasn't an Onyema to come out now?
That's another question.
Now we've seen that there were Nigerians that wanted to come home but couldn't.
Yes.
But when Nigeria had this, then after some time, people will come and say we are clueless.
Wait. How is it cluelessness? This is not.
When the government realized that there will also be Nigerians that are stuck
over there.
Yes. They said, don't worry about it. The High Commission has been instructed to make sure everything is
as long as we are Nigerian. Yes.
Alex is in Ikeja. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning to you all.
Thank you for calling in.
Yes. I am watching your program, and I'm very much impressed with what I've seen.
Thank you.
Yes. Basically, South Africa as a nation has shown such ingratitude to Nigeria. And this is not the first time it's happening. This is not even the second time it's happening.
Respectfully, Alex, we've dealt with that part of the story from Monday to Friday last week. But we're now concentrating on our men that have arrived. What can be done? Can we look at it on a state level in addition to what the federal authorities are doing? Can Ogun State people now, find out where are my people there? Zamfara people, where are my people? You know what I mean? Edo people,
yes.
How many? And then as their state of origin, we are interested in them.
Yes, as a state, I was going to go, that was just part of my introductory speech.
Okay.
But as a state, I believe right now that looking at the budgets of every state, you agree with me that every state is running on a time bomb. So there's little or nothing a state governor can do right now because even as a country, we are going to borrow 1.7 trillion naira to fund next year budget. So where we should look at it from is private sector stroke public sector partnership. That is the approach. Okay. Each state should look at the companies, organizations, institutions within their control, partner with them, and see how to rehabilitate these people, bring these people back on board. Like what Madam Abike Dabiri said, she's already working with back of industry.
Yes.
Those should be the kind of initiatives we should look at. So that we don't set up another political office, commission of returnees of South Africa, South African.
Oh dear.
Or South African returnees for Nigerians, where Nigerians, where some politicians will go and make money from.
Okay.
Partner with government, public sector partnership, commercial banks. Banks are declaring 300 billion profit a year in this country. And these banks are running in Nigeria. They should be able to tell the government now, this is what we can do.
Sure.
Nobody wants free money. We don't want free money.
Indeed.
Banks should be able to inculcate these people into the scheme of things.
Thank you very much,
Empower
Alex.
these people.
Thank you, Alex.
NDDC, where is the money going to? They keep on showing us repeat telecast of bridges. Put some funds into this project.
Thank you very much for calling in, Alex. Really appreciate your call. We really do appreciate your call. Thank you very much. As you mentioned, Abike Dabiri did say that the federal government, would be linking. I don't know how that link would be linking the returnees with the Bank of Industry. But the fact that the federal government is in there, they got.
I'm thinking of
that.
Yes.
The FG actually got a foot in the door for them, as opposed to them being on their own. So it looks like they're not being abandoned. But consider the points that Alex made.
Yeah, I think that is really addressing the fundamental problem, the real reason why they left. That is what is addressing it. Here is a man, for example, I left this country as well because I felt, but
it wasn't happening.
Yeah, but today I have made it in a way. God has helped me.
Yes.
There are people like that who are lucky. There are people like that who are not lucky. But if we address the fundamental problem here by way of industrialization, getting government to finance small-scale industry and little loans to
but
students.
These things are ongoing. Maybe not to the extent that we want.
We are not building foundation upon foundation.
So
that's why for me,
we're not getting a critical mass yet.
Yeah, we need to form foundation. First foundation is electricity. Second foundation is refinery. Third foundation is water, potable water. We don't have this foundation for industries to build upon. If I have 24 hours electricity, for example, guaranteed in Edo State, I will walk up as a governor, I will walk up to Cadbury, I will walk up to Michelin, I will walk up to all the producers and tell them, come to Edo State, I will give you a land, I will tax-free for 1 year.
Exactly.
Tax-free for 1 year, and you will see how many Benin people will be employed, and how many ladies will now be working to say they want to go to Italy or Belgium, and how many boys will say they want to cross the Sahara Desert.
Okay.
We need to build foundation upon foundation.
Got it. Joshua in Irewale, good morning, sir.
Yeah. Okay, Uncle Yori, good morning.
Thank you for calling in. Good morning.
I want to commend you and your guest this morning.
Thank you.
I know.
Thank you.
I'm always happy listening to you because your platform is solving a lot of problems. Yeah. And I wish we have more communications like this across the length and breadth of Nigeria. We need to put the right image on this country. Enough of demarketing. I think there are individuals who specialize in demarketing Nigeria to profit from the mystery of people who are ill-informed. No country is without challenges. We're going through difficult times, but I see this government, like I've always said, having a positive approach to solving these problems. My reason for calling is to talk to the Reverend there I'm quite impressed about him. I wish these are the kind of reverends we have in Nigeria. I want him to understand or to talk to his constituency, the religious community. They just collect money from people and promise them prosperity from heaven. Let him.
As you know, the prosperity gospel is being disowned nowadays.
By even his,
as you know, in Christendom.
Yes.
Yes, they are the ones causing problems. They promise people prosperity without work.
Exactly.
So people will now be looking for greener pastures everywhere. He should speak to that his community where money, they collect money from people. Let them, please, tell them the truth, that money is obtained by working, not by going to the mouth of the fish to collect money. So that religious community should join government in doing things like this. That is what they are meant to do. They are meant to be there for people in the time of their hardship, their stress.
Yeah.
Not just to be collecting tithe and offering and promising people heaven and earth where they are buying care.
Thank you very much for calling in, Joshua. Really appreciate your call. To be fair, churches.
No, as I was saying,
the church body in Nigeria.
But
I just wanted to make the point.
Exactly.
The body in Nigeria has been doing some of this kind of stepping in
exactly.
when we've had issues.
A lot of messages have been.
One needs to just put that beside what you
just to say, for me, for example, when I'm at work, I resume by 6 o'clock in the morning, and I stop by 7 p.m. in the evening. So 13 hours of work, 7 days a week when I'm at work. I am in a good position to tell all the pastors, please work.
That is Sebastian the engineer.
That's
Sebastian the engineer.
The Reverend.
But Reverend Sebastian, you see? So he's saying that, look, this is Sebastian the engineer. 13 hours a day, those are the kind of days I do. Whatever I have, with God's grace, is because of my work, you know. So there's a point in there. But I also needed to, I think it was only fair to say that it's not as if Nigerian churches are totally, totally abandoned. But we can
do better. We can do better.
Now, the Bank of Industry thing that Abika Debiri had said that Nigeria will be getting a foot in the door for our people. That is, in effect, it's like government will be introducing them to the bank, which you can't have a better guarantee than that. But you see, beyond, it goes back to what Sebastian was saying. Why wouldn't this kind of a thing happen? That this whole matter of ease of doing business, it's not just for expatriates, it's not just for foreigners. How about in Nigeria itself? Our people are making efforts in that direction. But if they are moving fast enough, is another matter. We can still see that Nigeria can move. Look at when it felt the pressure from the public outcry. Look at what we have done as a people.
That's right.
Our leaders have done. But people want a lot more.
Well, for that.
Yakub, sorry, sir. Yakub in Dokwemu, good morning.
Yeah,
sir.
Good morning, Sijori.
Thank you for calling in, sir.
And good morning to your students.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sijori, let me begin by saying kudos to Nigerian government, and then kudos to Nyama, the guy that provides the head start for those people to come back to their father's land.
Onyema.
But yes,
Onyema.
But I'm not saying that.
Not Yama.
Allen. Onyema.
Do you know that
I was just
some of Nigerian citizens that have not left this country to another country, they choose to stay not because they are living peacefully or they are living the way they wanted to live. Nigerian government should be able to provide a conducive environment for every citizen of this country, so that we cannot be able to think that we are leaving the country. Let me give you a typical example here. You are talking about Abika Debiri now, that he was trying to approach Bank of Industry for this returning. I didn't mean
it's the federal government, actually.
Yes, I didn't mean those returning. They approach Bank of Industry by themselves. I can tell you they will never access to anything, any money, because
that's the point I made. That's the point I made.
I'm going to explain that.
Yes, some of my friends, they apply to Bank of Industry for them to get some loans. They find it difficult to get this money because of the kind of collateral they are asking them. If no federal government helping this returning, they will find it difficult. And then having said that, one of your guests said something very, very important about energy. I'm talking about power. You see, the man go to Russia, and then it's helping them there over there to provide almost 1,000 megawatts, as he said earlier in the studio. The problem we have is this. The former government, I mean the former PDP government, they made a mistake to privatize this electricity, and then they're privatizing it, and then to start this thing to the people that lack ability to give Nigerian power. That is the problem.
Okay.
When they privatize this, they should be able to know these people that were telling this to, are they capable to give Nigerian power? Here we are. There's a law. The incumbent government, they cannot reform this license because of the law. So I'm using this opportunity to tell Nigerian government, if they want to reform this nonsense, in order for Nigerian citizens to get power, they should do so that we can be able to get power. Okay. If you can solve the power problem, everything will be solved. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much.
I need to explain something about Bank of Industry. I was business editor for about 5 years, so I understand. I covered the money market, I covered the capital market, so I quite understand the challenges of people be able to access loans. Loans are just not given as free gifts. Before you can approach a bank for any facility, you must be able to ensure that your project is bankable, number one. And then the documentation you are presenting, they must be able to attract even your financiers to say, okay, they want to put money in, but in most cases,
that's for loans.
Yeah.
Now,
for Bank of Industry, Bank of Industry is also loan.
No, wait a minute. That's Bank of Industry, and we're talking about loans, and you're talking about some of the parameters.
Yes.
Now, how does this differ from soft loans, which is the focus here?
How
does
the
that
focus
differ?
here,
Because what Abike was talking about was BOI and soft loans.
What they are going to be enjoying that Yakubu is saying that the people basically are not enjoying is because theirs is a peculiar situation where government is going to also stand as a surety for them, as guarantor for them.
God bless you.
That's the only different thing.
Yes.
Because when they get in there, all the processes that people like us can go through by providing business.
But I was wondering if the word soft, coupling loans with the word soft, as a soft loan. This is what we're talking about now.
Yes, as I said, whether soft or hard loan, whatever nomenclature.
Because
government is going to
classic you described
guarantor.
would okay.
Yeah, that's the difference. Government is going to guarantee them. So it's as if it's going to be like a grant. It may not be a loan. It's just going to be a grant that they do not necessarily have to pay back. I'm following the normal procedure.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying, yes, it's possible. It's going to be like a grant.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Magbemi has come on. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for calling in.
Yes, thank you so much. This program is very insightful and is very, very informative.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for this program.
Thank you.
Yes. I think there's a summary to all these conversations. The summary is simple. We want to go back and discuss where we are coming from. If you permit me, let me summarize
briefly.
Your program.
Yeah, thank you very much. See if you can do it in 60 seconds.
Yes. Your program can be summarized as discussing corruption. And your program can be summarized as discussing integration, integrating these returnees back into the society. Well, you have over 700 local government councils in Nigeria. The reverend gentleman seated there is a power expert. He will agree with me that Nigeria generates enough gas and we have enough pipelines, gas network pipelines. We can actually have power gas turbines in about 650 locations in Nigeria and generate power.
I agree with you absolutely.
That's right.
And sell power to everybody, rural and urban areas, and allow states and even local government councils to generate their power. And with this will also generate revenue, increase employment, and stop anybody from leaving this country.
Okay,
well, I agree with you
Mr. Magbemi,
absolutely.
I've got to interrupt you. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, we just don't have the time, but we really did get your drift.
That's right.
And thank you very much for your contribution. Time is the dictator here. Otherwise, I would have liked to hear your exciting ideas more. Yes.
Let me just summarize what he's trying to say.
Okay.
And that's what I said at the beginning. That when you have 2 million people and we are supposed to be producing 200,000 megawatts of electricity, and we are only producing 5,000.
Hovering between 1 and 4.
That is the major problem we have in this country.
Okay.
And the solution, like I said at the very beginning, lines, create pipelines for gas, create pipelines for crude oil, create pipelines for potable water, create pipelines for drainage. Now let's talk to the pipeline for gas. Create pipelines for gas everywhere. Lay the gas wherever it is. Auchi can come up and say we want to generate for ourselves. They get gas.
So those kind of ideas.
This
Reverend,
is
we've run out of time.
Yeah, that's foundational building.
Indeed. You know, Charles?
Well, we thank God for what's happening. We have brought them back. Proper integration we do. Let them feel that that sense of belonging, that indeed they are Nigerian, that Nigerian can treat them better than they were treated back in South Africa.
Definitely. They are home.
Marvelous.
Yes.
They're home.
Yeah, they're home.
They were saying there's no place like home.
Exactly.
Thank you very much, Charles Ideho,
Thank you very
journalist
much.
and public affairs analyst.
Right.
And thank you very much, Sebastian. Reverend Sebastian Iere, chartered electrical engineer. Thank you very much for sharing your perspective.
Thank you very much.
Indeed. So that's our program. Please join us the next one, which happens to be Monday, because we don't do weekends. Do have a great weekend. I am Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.